I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, welcoming you to the County Commissioners Board meeting for August the 6th. Just a reminder, if you have specific comments regarding agenda items, we will give you an opportunity to address those here at the beginning of the agenda. I would encourage you to post those questions immediately to the Q&A function of Microsoft Teams or to the comments section for YouTube or Facebook. We have staff that are monitoring YouTube and Facebook and will respond right away. If you have general public comment, that will be handled at the end. I do want to remind you that these are both comment opportunities and they are not necessarily Q&A forums. With that, we will begin our meeting with a moment of silence, followed by a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we begin our meeting, I'd like to take note that we held two executive sessions, one on July the 30th dealing with real estate and litigation, and another one on August the 5th dealing with personnel, real estate, and litigation. Mary, is there any public comment on specific agenda items?
I do not believe there is. No.
Okay.
There are none.
Very good. We'll move to the agenda. Item 1, authorizing. Under that, Budget Department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2020 budget transfers in the amount of $202,801 and 2020 appropriations in the amount of $1,395,509 per listing dated August the 3rd of 2020. We have one HR item, authorize the appointment of Kelly Long to Law Clerk 1 in Court Administration. Under purchasing, we have one item, adopt a resolution authorizing the award and the Director of Contracts and Procurement to execute an agreement as a result of an invitation to bid vehicle maintenance and repair for the County of Berks fleet for a 2-year period. That goes to Tom Massano Ford out of Reading, PA. The estimated annual expenditure for year 1 is $60,254.30. The estimated annual expenditure for year 2 is $46,915.60. We have one item listed under Commissioner Rivera, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Helen Shimo Flynn, Reading, PA, to the Berks County Public Library's Board of Directors to fulfill the unexpired term of Peter Schuchman. This term will expire December 31st of 2022. We have several items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the sub-grant award notification for the PCCD grant, the Berks County Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental in the amount of $213,225 for the period of July 7th, 2020 through December 31st of 2021. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the T-Mobile Connecting Heroes Agreement to provide for the purchase of wireless mobile services and devices from T-Mobile and T-Mobile agrees to provide the services and devices to the county based on the prices governed by the NASPO Master Agreement, subject to final review and approval by the Solicitor's Office. This is a zero-cost contract to activate 2 devices on T-Mobile's no-cost public safety plan as a system test. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing Janine Quigley, Warden of the Berks County Jail System, to execute the Berks County Jail Licensing Agreement, Attachment A, and the Applicant Test Licensing Agreements with Ergometrics to provide testing services for correctional officers at the Berks County Jail for the term September 3 of 2020 through September 18 of 2020 at a not to exceed amount of $1,500 and any and all necessary documents. Item D, adopt a resolution approving the tobacco smoking policy section of the County of Berks Human Resource Policy and Procedures effective immediately. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Rodney S. Ridley Sr. of Quakertown, Pennsylvania, but also on staff at Alvernia University, to the Berks County Convention Center Authority for a 4-year term expiring August 27th of 2024. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of P. Michael Ellerman, Wyomissing, PA, to the Berks County Convention Center Authority for a 4-year term expiring on August 27th of 2024. Item G, adopt a resolution amending Resolution 10-2020, providing rules and regulations for conduct and comments at all public meetings, both in person and virtual, in order to conduct all public meetings in an orderly manner. I'm going to note the change that's occurred here. The old rules allowed for up to 3 minutes of comment by an individual, and it didn't differentiate by virtual versus in person. The 3-minute will apply to in-person only, and the virtual will be limited based on the platform on which an individual is responding. So whatever the character limits are on YouTube, whatever the character limits are on Facebook, and whatever the character limits are on Microsoft Teams Q&A is what applies. And unfortunately, they're all different, which is why we put it in those terms. Item 2, a motion authorizing execution of contract agreements and amendments as furnished by the contract coordinator as set forth on the attached listing dated August the 4th of 2020. There are a total of 10 contracts. There are 5 with the Area Agency on Aging. There's 1 with the Children and Youth Services, 1 with the District Attorney, 1 with Parks and Rec, 1 with the Public Defender, and 1 with the Solicitor's Office. And then item 3, a motion to ratify and confirm payments as set forth on the Controller's Office voucher listing dated August the 4th of 2020 for the week ending August the 4th of 2020, and the payment of electronic transfers and employee payroll.
I motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. With that, we will move to our Berks County Treasurer, Dennis Adams, for the Treasurer's Report. Dennis?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have an opening balance today of $224,160,234.35. A balance to clear of $3,028,655.89, leaving us with a balance today of $221,131,578.46.
Thank you very much, Dennis. And we now turn to our County Controller, Sandy Graffius, with the Controller's Report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Total accounts payable, $7,335,426.67. We had a payroll this week, $4,450,549.34. Sorry about that, got my zeros mixed up. For a grand total of $11,785,976.01.
Thank you very much, Sandy. And we'll now move to our Chief Administrative Officer, Ron Seaman, for his report.
Thank you. There's nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. And that quickly, we are to commissioners' comments, and we'll begin with Commissioner Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, and again, everyone who has joined us today. I have a couple of updates. We still meet on a weekly basis with the Census 2020 Committee and our chairs. We're pulling together a media update, I hope for next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. We found out this week that the census will close with the actual in-person enumerators the end of September instead of the end of October. They've cut it back by 1 month. So we really want to push out the need to get everyone counted in Berks County. We still have some significant drops in several of the census tracts in Reading. Some are 20% below the county average. The county average is really good. I think we rank like 13th in the Commonwealth. That takes into account the city and the county. So the county effort's been going tremendously well. We still need to bolster the efforts in Reading, and they are going to continue to have at least 2 more census days in Berks County. They indicated that a lot of the undercount is in the high rise, the senior high rise locations. So going to focus on a lot of that moving forward. So wanted to brief everyone on that. It's not too late to go online and fill out your census form. It's painless. It's only a couple minutes long. Weekly contact tracing update. They are going to be training some part-time paid personnel and community volunteers on August 27th, and we'll limit the attendance to 10. Going to bolster their support for going into the fall and winter. To date, 559 contacts are in the database. Only 52 have refused, so the tracing service refusals 9%. The 559 contacts currently in the database represent 76 new contacts in the past week, a 16% increase in the past week. Alvernia and Kutztown universities will rely on Co-County Wellness for their contact tracing. That's good news. And Carolyn continues to field calls from superintendents of local schools to discuss return to school plans and the best way to pre-gather data in the event an exposure occurs. Tracers continue to provide not only COVID information and support, but regularly make connections to food banks, deliver sanitizing supplies to contacts' doorsteps to keep them in quarantine, and when needed, connect them with other social and medical supports in our community. Great to have them as a partner with us in the community. Want to spend a couple moments talking about the community needs assessment, which was to gather data on what the community needed in respect to the CARES Act allocation we received from Washington, ultimately through Harrisburg and here, of $38 million. We received 153 assessments. We kept the assessment line open for about 4 weeks. We received 19 from municipal and authorities. That totaled requests of $2,487,000. Under public health, we received 9 responses. That is $9,774,000. Not-for-profit social services, 43, $8,705,000. Education, 8 at $285,886. And finally, businesses and others at 74, $2,397,693, with a total of $23,651,166 in requests for supplemental monies. And just factoring in the balance on $38 million would be $14,348,000, which would be at the very least what the county has and will expend on PPE, on shields and plexiglass, on contact tracing, on marketing, such as Do Your Part, Stop the Spread, the Rebuild Berks program through the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance, and some technology upgrades. It's amazing how fast $38 million goes. Just an item of note, there are some, obviously in those numbers, some requests that do not meet the criteria of the CARES Act, but a significant number of the businesses, that 74 that applied, did not really put down their actual dollar needs, which we very easily believe could be double $38 million. We're going to be having a discussion with the board on Tuesday about the next round of monies for businesses. At this point, Pam Schupp is calling it Small Business New Start. And I know Michael Rivera has been heavily involved in the first two through NHS and CFF. This will hopefully be a third allocation of resources to our businesses, which will then encompass businesses of over $1 million in gross revenue and more than 8 employees. So we're hoping with all this to put in about $6 million into that program. We believe $5 million to satisfy the needs of the businesses who have been waiting and have applications filed, as well at least $1 million for the ones that were not captured thus far, in excess of $1 million to $3 or $4 million in gross revenue. Some of the highlights in the education component, the museum, for example, is in need of $52,000, Albright College $118,900, King's Academy $79,800. Not-for-profits, 211, the non-emergency call system, $181,000. Hope Rescue Mission $80,000, Habitat $32,000. Helping Harvest $6,650,000. Easy Does It $86,000. Western Berks Ambulance $148,000. The YMCA $75,000. Now Threshold Rehabilitation Services $527,700, but they had not yet applied for their HHS grant, which is Health and Human Services grant. Boyertown Multi-Services $322,000. Safe Berks $51,000. The Children's Home of Reading $105,000. We also have governments, Rawa $1.6 million. Muhlenberg Township $175,000. Reading Public Library $75,000. Wyomissing Borough $37,900. The City of Reading $226,000. Hamburg $51,000, Exeter $43,000, Spring Township $211,000. Under public health, I misstated this for the last couple of weeks. I must apologize. Reading Hospital, now this is strictly monies out the door in the Reading Hospital system, which have not been reimbursed by any grants so far, is $8 million. I had incorrectly reported $17 million. I apologize. St. Joe's Penn State Health, $1.7 million. And last but not least, we have through the businesses and others, Pennsylvania Americana, $750,000. Rodell Institute, $1.2 million. And the Firefighters Museum in Reading, which is at the Liberty Fire Company on Laurel Street, $100,000. They've been impacted by the city of Reading pulling back CDBG money to restore and rehabilitate that building from the 1800s. So there's a $100,000 request from there. And again, that's something that unprofessionally, I don't think that qualifies for our CARES Act allocation, but this again gives you some of the critical needs in the community, how things came to a screeching halt back in the middle of March. And it's a whole new paradigm out there. So again, just the assessment alone captured $38 million. We know that could easily be double that once we really start going out into the business community, making the calls, understanding there's going to be a third program. The CDBG program is still open. The CDFI is open for 2 weeks. We're hoping to roll this one out, not to overly confuse our business community, roll out this third one, the Small Business New Start, probably at the end of August, and try to capture the ones who otherwise haven't received any money, but then again have higher revenues above $1 million. So A lot of information out there, but a lot of things taking place here. I just wanted to inform not just the community and the listeners, but also my colleagues as to what's taking place here. So a lot of work behind the scenes trying to get this information and making sure that there's enough safeguards and qualifiers when we recommend how to send this money out. It's going to be done in a very controlled manner that it's all accountable for at the end of it all. Okay? That's all I have at this point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart. We'll move now to Commissioner Rivera.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. I have a few things, and I've been touching on these the past few weeks, and I want to continue to touch on them just because how important they are. And one is the Small Business Restart Grant Program. There's still money available there, so if you have not applied for that and you are a small business owner outside the City of Reading limits, please go to the Neighborhood Housing Services of Greater Reading website and you can apply there. You can also get more information and a link to the application at the doyourpartberks.com website. Again, that is doyourpartberks.com website. And this is for businesses. You have to fit in certain qualifiers to be able to get the grant, but it's up to $35,000. So please, it's an opportunity. If your business was affected by COVID, it's a great opportunity to be able to get the help that you need. So again, doyourpartberks.com, and you can get the link on there to the Small Business Restart Grant Program. Also, I encourage business owners and the public in general to visit rebuildberks.com. And this is a program done in conjunction between the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance and Berks County. And it's basically tools to be able to help our businesses to start and grow and be viable businesses through this COVID-19 pandemic. So one, there's resources there for businesses. There's training sessions. There is a tool which, if you're a business primarily in manufacturing, where you're manufacturing something and you need material to build that product, and for some reason the supplier you are using, you're not able to get the product from them anymore, the GRCA has a tool which will match you up with a local or regional supplier so that you can continue your process and use local businesses as well. Part of the Rebuild Berks also is buy local, in which we're encouraging people to use local businesses to buy the products and the services that they need, rather than going online, buying from who knows where. Go to your small business, help them. They're your neighbors, their kids are in school with your kids. They're people that you know and talk with every day. So go on there. If you don't own a business, but you do use those businesses, you can go onto the website and see what local small businesses are in your area so that you're able to go and visit them. Or if you have a business that you would like to be on the website on Rebuild Berks, you can also go in there and ask to have that business added as well. So when people go on, they're able to see that business on there. So there's all the free training as well. And as Commissioner Barnhart had spoken to, that part will also have, the Rebuild Berks will also have a grant program for the businesses, which is money from CARES Act. A little bit different from the Small Business Restart Program. This grant will be open to any business, no matter where it's located at within the County of Berks. Doesn't matter if it's city or not city, it's open to everyone. It will also allow for a little more, a different amount of employees and business owners, as well as for higher revenue. The Restart Program is for revenues up to $1 million. The CARES Act money, which will be connected to Rebuild Berks, that will go a little bit higher than the $1 million. Understanding that some businesses have a high gross revenue, but a smaller profit margin, and we want to make sure that they're able to access the money to keep their business going as well. Third program is the rental assistance programs. They are running right now. They're taking applications. If you do know anyone, you can have them reach out to the Berks Coalition to End Homelessness, and they can point you in the right direction. Now, it's important to understand if you're a tenant, you should reach out. if you are a landlord, you should reach out as well. I know a lot of landlords are being affected right now. I know a lot of them, and they're saying, you know what, Mike, we're being hurt because people can't pay their rent. What can we do? With the rental assistance programs, some of the programs, especially the one through PHFA, can be applied for by the landlord. The others cannot. But even if you can apply for it as a landlord, you can reach out to your tenant and say, hey, you know what? There's rental assistance programs. Let's work on this together. We can help get your rent up to date. That way, we can continue to move forward and be able to forego the eviction process. So again, renters or landlords, both of you should be looking for information on these different programs, and you can reach out to the Berks Coalition to End Homelessness for more information on this. Also wanted to share that on Sunday, I had the honor of visiting the Persian Gulf War Area Memorial, and they had the unveiling of the memorial, which is in Veterans Grove in City Park. A great unveiling service there, and we were honoring 10 local Berks Countyans who have lost their life in the Persian Gulf War throughout the years when it started. Actually, this was on Sunday, August the 2nd, and this war started to the date 30 years ago. So it's a great day to be able to do the unveiling and to celebrate and to honor and to remember those Berks Countyans who lost their lives in that war, and also encourage their family members to let their legacy be known to their family members as to what their service was to our country. So I want to thank those that were in attendance there. I want to thank the committee that put this together. It was in the workings for 2 years. It took a lot of effort, a lot of commitment, a lot of money, but they were able to get it done. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to have been able to go there and speak and address the group briefly to thank them as well. Also on Sunday, I was able to attend the now Berks County, which used to be the Reading Fair, but it's now the Berks County Fair award ceremony, and it's at the fairgrounds here in Bern Township. And Commissioner Limbach and I were there, and we gave out certificates provided by all 3 commissioners to the award winners there. It was a great opportunity to celebrate what the ag community is doing here in Berks County. It's the #1 industry here in Berks County. So I want to congratulate again all those who won. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to be there and talk with those farmers and other members of the ag community and spend some time together with them. One last item I want to bring up is many of you have heard about the Colebrookdale Railroad. It was just found out 2 days ago. Actually, I got a press release, and I'm going to read the press release, some of the parts. And it's the Berks County Colebrookdale Railroad was recently nominated to USA Today's 2020 10 Best Reader's Choice Travel Awards for Best Scenic Train Ride. So they're nominated there. Right now, the Colebrookdale Railroad is in 3rd position. We need all our Berks Countyans to get out, go online and vote. You can vote by going to the Colebrookdale Railroad website, which is colebrookdalerailroad.com, or you can also go to Colebrookdale's Railroad Facebook, and there will be a link there where you click on the link and you'll be able to vote. Like I said, right now we're in 3rd place. We'd like to be able to win and get into in 1st place. This would be a great opportunity for Berks County. It would be a boost for our tourism here in Berks County at a time when our tourism has been hurt hard by COVID. So please visit www.colebrookdalerailroad.com or their Facebook page, again, Colebrookdale Railroad, and please vote. You can vote every 24 hours. So every morning when you get up, click on their website, click on their Facebook page, and vote for them to be able to make this happen and move up from 3rd to 1st place. And that's all I have. Commissioner Limbach, back to you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera and Commissioner Barnhart. Appreciate your input and your comments. I want to touch on several items and I'm going to begin by sharing an update on some of the data. This is the most current data in the early warning dashboard from the Pennsylvania Department of Health. This is specific to Berks County. I want to highlight two areas of concern, and I want to note that we also track this data through our local Department of Emergency Services. The positivity rate in the last 7 days, so this is through July 30th, is up to 5.6%. That's a fairly significant jump in over the previous 7-day average. And that's something you want to watch. That's more important than the total number of positive cases, because as testing goes up, the numbers of tests go up, you're likely to get more positives. What really matters is what is the positivity rate. And then secondly, and this came up yesterday on our call with Dr. Powell from the Reading Hospital and Dr. Baxter from the Berks County Medical Society. Dr. Powell noted that there have been a number of hospitalizations, COVID-19 positive cases, and this also is showing an increase in hospitalizations in the last 7-day period, again through July the 30th. Just want to keep that in front of you, keep people aware of what we're dealing with at the county level. Also related to this, Dr. Powell and actually Brian Gottschall answered a question yesterday, and I believe Fred is in our Q&A comment section again today about this, asking about the recovery numbers. And the hospitals both track the recovery numbers. Dr. Powell said that she's going to work to make sure those numbers are more readily available to either the county or to the public. The state also tracks the recovery numbers and shares those on a statewide basis. Dr. Powell got back to me either late yesterday or early this morning to let me know that she also checked into the recovery rate for the Reading Hospital, and the percentage of patients that come to the hospital that recover is 81%. I also want to highlight that on Sunday, I also participated in the Reading Fair / Berks County Fair. And the reason I say those two names, the name has been officially changed, and the awards program, which was held at the fairgrounds not inside technically, it's in one of the pole barns, so it's very open. People were socially distanced, wearing masks. We were able to honor a number of individuals. We honored the 4-H'ers of the year, and those two individuals were Evan Camp and Jonathan Berry. We also honored the FFA members of the year, and those individuals were Natalie Grumbine and Haley Weidman. And then we also recognized the Farm Family of the Year, and this was the Blatt Farm family, Chris, Tammy, and Haley. Ag is a big part of our local economy. By revenue, it is the #1 industry in Berks County. So we appreciate the leadership of the now Berks County Fair officers. The president of the Berks County Fair is Ray Davis. Ray was there along with their other officers. And in light of what we're dealing with, they're doing a very good job. Obviously, there is no Berks County Fair this year. They're already working on plans to do that next year. That would be happening, I believe, right now in a normal year. I also had the opportunity to participate in the dedication of the Persian Gulf Memorial. That was a really moving event. I want to also recognize, and I'm putting up a picture that hopefully you can see, Floyd Turner is a big part of this effort. There are a number of other people that made this happen, but as noted by Commissioner Rivera, there are a number of names, I believe a total of 10 names on that memorial, and I want to take a moment to recognize these individuals. They each paid the ultimate price for freedom. And I noted in my comments, these are soldiers. These were men that went where they were sent. They're not the politicians. They didn't make the policy decisions. They simply did their job. And in doing their job, they gave their lives. And the individuals are Brian Mowry, Jarrett Yoder, Jonathan Walls, Anthony Vargas, Sean Flannery, William Fernandez, Lance Vaccaro, Joshua Seitz, Travis Zimmerman, Michael Trebilla. With that, we are going to move to row officers' comments. Do any of our row officers have comments to share?
Yes, this is Dennis, the treasurer.
Yes, Dennis Adams.
I don't usually give you kind of guys updates like this, but it's doe season, or antlerless deer. I just want everybody to know, all our hunting friends, that there are no over-the-counter licenses this year. It's all by U.S. mail. And if they need additional information, go to the website under treasurer. There's some directions for people, but all mail will be done, all doe licenses will be done through U.S. mail, first priority.
Very good. Any other comments from row officers? Okay. With that, we will move to public comment. Just a reminder, public comment is limited to one comment per person. Please provide your name and the municipality that you are from. And the commissioners reserve the right to comment after the comment period is closed. With that, we'll turn to my executive assistant, Mary Buer, to read today's comments.
Tammy Keener, Spring Township. Mail-in voting is fraud. We need to go to the polls to vote. If we can go to the grocery store, Lowe's, or the mall, we can safely go to the polls. 1. Proof of fraud. I mailed my daughter a birthday card on July 9th. She lives 3 miles from me, but she loves receiving my card in the mail as a surprise. Her birthday is on July 26th. I mailed it in plenty of time to make sure she got it on time, and she never received it. Yesterday, on August 1st, she called me and told me she finally got the card. 2. For the primary at my home, we received 6 ballots, none of which we requested and none that were for our names. 3 were Democrat ballots and 3 were Republican. We have lived in our home since 1986. 3. You have to sign the outside of the envelope. In this day and age, anyone can copy your signature and forge it. They can drain your assets before you know it. Number 4, the U.S. Mail Union just endorsed Joe Biden. That is not an unbiased nor secure system. This is proof that the mail-in votes do not work and lead to fraud. They never will be received in time, and we won't have the count in proper time. Can't you as commissioners stop mail-in voting fraud? Christopher Ellis, Reading. Will you be providing hazard pay for your essential workers who have been putting their lives on the line for all of us? There is CARES Act money yet to be spent by the Commonwealth, which you can advocate to be given to county workers as hazard pay. Crystal Kowalski, Wyomissing, PA. These are on agenda items, but were not received in time, but I will read them. I have a comment question pertaining to agenda item 270.2020. Are the testing services being provided to the jail by Ergometrics for the purpose of hiring, promoting, evaluating, or training correction officers? I have noticed from the jail logs that the jail population has grown by almost 100 people in the last 2 months. I am wondering if this growth is necessitating the hiring of more corrections officers. I am also wondering if you anticipate the jail population continuing to grow at this accelerated rate. I also have a comment question on agenda item 274.2020 G. How and why will you be amending the rules and regulations for conduct and comments at public meetings? During these virtual meetings, you have the ability to screen comments and questions to make sure they are not inappropriate. I believe it is critical to accountability and transparency to have the least restrictive rules and regulations possible regarding public comment. Thank you. Fred Zenkraft, Sr., Berkshire Heights. Thanking everyone for their responses yesterday, and for the benefit of those not viewing yesterday's weekly update meeting, if responses to these comments and questions could be summarized at this board meeting, it would be appreciated. Also, I'd like to commend the commissioners for establishing the medical advisory panel to assist with this communist Chinese virus pandemic. Yesterday's numbers were per John Hopkins coronavirus COVID-19 recovery numbers updated August 3rd. Berks County not available, Pennsylvania not available. And then he gives the numbers for the United States and for global. Hammered daily with case and death numbers in local and national media. Why aren't recovery numbers reported for Berks County? Surely they are recorded somewhere. And why are these positive prospective numbers not just as widely reported daily? Do the three commissioners agree that these positive numbers should be reported to their constituents? And if so, see to it they are, please. Thank you. Adrian Jadek, Wyomissing. There is currently no internal affairs department or any other body that is tasked to maintain a certain level of fairness and professionalism in local police work, like there is, for example, in state police. As a result, the police acts with impunity and create a felon out of any one of us in a second, and there seems to be no standards, licensing body for the officers or other tools for the citizens to keep the police accountable other than spending tons of money on lawyers. We have been victims of exactly the same officers as Stanley Gracious and know firsthand what they are capable of. As we have seen with Stanley Gracious' case, the DA collaborates closely with local police and vouches for their actions. A 12-year-old could see that the police escalated the heck out of the case, yet the DA praised the officers for de-escalating the situation. The following comparison may seem harsh, but is sadly very close to reality. The chief of Wyomissing Police acts like a banana republic dictator using the police force as his personal guerrilla army. The borough councilmen back him up as long as the chief chases their enemies and protects their friends and special interests. If the officers rough up a poor man in Walmart, nobody cares, business as usual. What can be done countywide to create an independent task force to hold our local police accountable for their actions? Becky Ellis, Reading. As a school board director, I am concerned for the safety and welfare of our students, teachers, support staff, and administration. Last evening, the Reading School Board directors came together on behalf of the Reading School District to decide what schooling would look like in the fall. I have never, as a school board director, ever had to make a decision of that magnitude, and I spent the day yesterday prior to the vote discussing the impending decision with numerous educators who were, quite frankly, scared for their lives. As one fellow school board director stated, this whole situation is wildly disappointing to me because we are school board members and administrators and not public health officials. It is so disappointing that the state has put this on us. School districts across the country and the states are dealing with this, and they shouldn't be. What can we do as a county to prevent that type of burden from falling on the individual school districts and school board directors? While Reading will be fully virtual to start the school year, just 20 minutes north of us, Hamburg School Board directors will be voting on August 10 to send children and teachers back to school for in-person classroom instruction. As we see confirmed cases trending downward for Berks County, the positivity rate has increased in the past 7 days. After writing a letter to voice my concern to the governor's office, the letter that I received from Governor Tom Wolf stated, if you have concerns regarding an individual school entity's reopening plan, please contact your local school officials and representatives. I feel that we as school board directors are not being heard when we are asking for help. Do you have any suggestions? Thank you. Louise Grimm, why I'm missing. Dear Commissioners, since the Trump administration has pretty much sidelined the experts at the CDC and left the management of the pandemic to state and local officials, what are you planning to do to get ready for the distribution of vaccine in our community when the time comes? Have you given any thoughts as to how you will prioritize the distribution? Will you have several distribution points? Who will administer the vaccine? What will you do to make sure there are enough doses to vaccinate all who desire vaccination? Who will be responsible for coordinating security if necessary? Now is the time for our communities to prepare for the next step so that everything goes as smoothly as possible. And it has become abundantly clear during this health crisis that a county health department would greatly benefit us all. What steps are you taking to establish such a department? Jess Royer, Spring Township. Good morning, Commissioners. It seems more and more likely that schools will be opening virtually, as the Reading School Board voted to do last night. This will help prevent the spread of COVID-19 among students and their families, but it will also result in those families who do not have reliable internet at home feeling unable to keep up with their children's learning, and parents who are unable to work from home being unable to provide supervision for their children at home. There will be area organizations that will attempt to help families as much as possible, such as libraries, local parks, Olivets, YMCA, etc. But there will be limitations on what these groups and organizations can do based on funding and public health considerations. What can Berks County government do to either directly help families or support the provision of services via community groups? Does the county have any funds or grants that can be distributed to those who need it? I also see parallels between the concern for the potential spread of COVID-19 among children and their families in schools and the risk of spreading COVID-19 among detainees at the Berks County Residential Center. We as a society have the ability to choose how much risk we're willing to accept to children in the care of the state. David Del Negro, West Reading. Excellent COVID update. Glad to see you tracking all data proactively. May you be blessed with the strength to continue your important work. And that is the last of the comments.
Thank you very much, Mary. At this time, we will close the comments, and I will open it up if my colleagues would like to make any comments.
Just a few responses to some of the questions and statements. The fraudulent mail-in ballots, the comment about receiving 6 ballots, 3 Democrat, 3 Republicans, that did not come through our election services office. That may have come from the Republican and Democratic national committees as an application. They are not ballots. So that to me can be considered junk mail. The question about hazard pay, we have been paying incentive pay to our frontline workers at the nursing home since April. And the recent allocation of hazard pay about 2 weeks ago from Governor Wolf does not include county employees.
And it's limited to people who make $20 an hour or less.
Correct. The jail population has increased over the last 2 months. That's a byproduct of the courts getting back into session and moving people through the process. I wouldn't say it was a spike. We had probably had a record low of about 500 inmates back in May and June. I think it's just a natural thing where people are being sentenced or working out their sentences. And the issue of corrections officers, we're always looking for better and more effective ways to train and recruit people. We probably, since Christian and I have been here 13 years ago, I don't think there's ever been a period of time where we've been fully staffed with corrections officers. I think our last prison board meeting, we're 16 short. We're about 16 vacancies. It's a tough thing to fill. Not everybody wants to get into the corrections line of work. It's very rewarding. The pay is really good, but it's a struggle to try to get people who qualify to work in that sort of environment and also to recruit people. So that's an ongoing issue with us. Last but not least, the virtual learning. I would submit that children were virtually learning since March, and they'll continue to do so into the fall. So the lack of internet access, I would have to suspect, and I could be corrected on this, that the educational institutions, the school districts and BCIU have handled that remarkably well, because as I read off the community needs assessments, we didn't receive any from any school district. We received 2 applications from BCIU, which really dealt more with their facilities and their buses as opposed to any school district that needed support. The CARES Act money does provide for broadband internet access, but as of yet, we really haven't received any requests for that. And I would dare say that school taxes probably have consumed the greater portion of making sure kids have laptops and internet access in their classrooms, in their homes. Again, I think it's critically important that kids continue to learn, whether it's in class or remotely. But I really think that is not something that the County of Berks should start to back into and start to get into the affairs of school districts, as we've been asked before. Hey, why don't you tell the school districts when they should open or how they should reopen? That's a school district thing, and you can see It's been pointed out every day you pick up the paper, different school districts doing something different or trying something different. And from what I understand, they have to get approval from the Department of Education in Harrisburg. Again, separation of authority, County of Berks, county government, school districts, and the Department of Education. We really shouldn't be mixing those two together. Again, if they need support, they can reach out to us, but at this point, I haven't received any inquiries from any school other than King's Academy, which is a private school, and theirs is more about social distancing than anything else. It's not to do with technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart. Any comments, Commissioner Rivera?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. I just have a few things here. Some of the things I was going to touch on, Commissioner Barnhart already did, so I'm not going to repeat any of them. But one of the things is, one of the comments asked whether the county can do anything to stop the mail-in voting. That is something put in place by the state. So the counties have no control over that. That is not something that the counties can decide whether they will accept mail-in voting or not. That was just passed by the state, so that would be something that you would have to have a conversation with your state representative or state senators to see if they'd be willing and able to do anything in reference to that. Also, I wanted to comment on the comments section. I just wanted to make it clear that we do not screen any of the comments. We do not decide to read some comments and not other comments that we don't particularly agree with. All comments are read. They have to have the person's name and the municipality they're in, and the comment will be read. So we do not screen any of the comments that come in to decide whether they will be read or not. And part of the changes that were made is initially it was in the comment section or portion of the meeting when it was held in person, you had up to 3 minutes for your comment. Doing it now virtually, you can call in, and there's different mediums that we use to be able to have the comment. So you can put in a comment through Microsoft Teams, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, however you're seeing the board meeting through, and we understand that each one of them has a different limits on characters as to how much you can write in. So what it's saying is that the comments you have when it's in writing will be limited to the amount of characters permitted with the medium that you're using to watch the board meeting. Once the board meetings go back to in-person meetings, you'll have the opportunity to come back in and you'll have the 3 minute opportunity to speak. And we'll also continue to live stream the meetings as well. So you will also be able to continue to comment through Teams and Facebook as well. So just wanted to make that clear. In reference to the school reopenings, we do understand that it's hard. And what I just ask people watching this and that you share with your neighbors and friends is the school board members, the superintendents, the staff at the schools, I don't believe any of them really take it lightly as the decisions that they have to make. I know we don't always agree with what they do or why they're doing it or how they're doing it, and you're more than welcome to disagree with them, just like you're more than welcome to disagree with any of us as well in any comments that we make or decisions that we make. But all I ask is that when you are disagreeing with them, you do it through the right communication mediums, and also that you be respectful with your disagreement as well, because you can disagree, you can do it respectfully. I don't think it's appropriate to be calling the school board members or staff names or saying that they don't care. I think that everyone that has to make those decisions does it the best they can based on the information they have at the moment that they're making the decision. And one of the questions also was what nonprofits are doing to help. I know United Way has been working with different nonprofits. We're looking at CARES Act money also for nonprofits to try to be able to make sure that there are libraries and other centers that have access to internet and other support services for kids to be able to use those services. Commissioner Leinbach, back to you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera. Thank you, Commissioner Barnhart. I'm going to try to make some comments and not repeat what my colleagues have already shared. I would like to note that on the mail-in ballots, number one, Commissioner Rivera appropriately pointed out, this was passed by the legislature in, I believe, Act 77 last fall. And mail-in ballots are no different than absentee ballots, which we've had for decades, with one exception. Absentee ballots required a specific reason, and it was either you were out of the county, unable to vote, or there was a clear physical issue that made it impossible for you to go vote at the polls on election day. With a mail-in ballot, there is no excuse required. The rules are the same. And Commissioner Barnhart pointed out, we do not send out ballots. Parties cannot send out ballots. The ballot can only come from the county. And in order to get a ballot, a person has to put in an application. In that application, they are putting in everyone's signing it, and they're putting in either Social Security or a driver's license. If any one of those things don't match what is on record, they don't get a ballot. That's very important for people to understand. So if you want to vote in person, I still prefer to vote in person. That's what I did in the primary. My wife voted by mail. But I will tell you, it gets frustrating in the voter registration drives, and these organizations are using lists that they purchase from various vendors, and some of these lists are awful. They're old voter registration lists. I'm guessing, Tammy, you experienced the result of entities sending stuff out, that they must have had a really bad list, because I know that you've lived there a long time. So that's the issue I wanted to raise there. Adrian pointed out that there's no internal affairs department, and he wanted the county to do this. This again relates to authority. Counties in Pennsylvania have no oversight, direct or indirect, of local law enforcement. Local law enforcement is directly responsible to the municipality or municipalities in a regional force like Northern Berks or Central Berks. Those are regional departments responsible to multiple municipalities. Only those municipalities can set up oversight. Only those municipalities have the right to hire, fire, and manage. And proof that the county is not picking and choosing the comments, Adrian's comment regarding the Wyomissing Police Department, and I will quote, "The chief of Wyomissing Police acts like a banana republic dictator, using the police force as his personal guerrilla army." That language isn't helpful in any debate. That is over the top, inappropriate. If you have issues, Adrian, I suggest that working with the Wyomissing Borough Council, that you delineate clearly what those issues are. Making these kinds of statements really harms the credibility of an individual making that kind of a statement. Becky Ellis, I just will touch on, I understand we talked yesterday on the Parks and Rec Board meeting. You sit on that, and we talked about this very issue. It is extremely difficult when you have conversations with all of the stakeholders to really grasp how difficult the decision is in whether you open in person or you open virtually. If you look at purely the health and safety issue, I can see the argument that in interest of health and safety, let's open virtually. But when you start talking to parents, especially single parents with school-age children, and the difficulty that they're going through to figure out what they're going to do. They work full time. They're the sole breadwinner for that family. And now they're going to be dealing with virtual schooling. Additionally, I've talked to parents who will tell me, and I had one actually tell me this today here in my office, that he has 2 children. One, absolutely no problem learning in a virtual environment. The other one, very concerned about the ability of that child to learn effectively in the virtual environment. And those are some of the challenges that we're going through. At the end of the day, it's a decision for the school superintendent, the school board, in conjunction with teachers and parents, making sure that all sides are heard. And unfortunately, people are going to have differing opinions. I am not choosing to be critical of one school for opening and another school for opening virtually. Let me see if there's anything else. I just want to note for the public, we publish publicly information during these meetings that we believe will be helpful. So for instance, you heard us reference the weekly update with Dr. Baxter and Dr. Powell. If you look on the Microsoft Teams published section, you'll find a link to the County of Berks Facebook page, and you can scroll down and you can watch that program from yesterday, so you can hear the answers from Dr. Baxter and Dr. Powell. Same thing with the YouTube link. We've also posted a link to doyourpartberks.com website. There's also a separate link to Rebuild Berks. That's the effort that Commissioner Rivera is leading on behalf of the county, along with the Chamber Alliance. There's also a link to the Colebrookdale Railroad website, and then I've actually posted a link to the area that you can vote on on the Colebrookdale website. And we also have posted appropriate pages relative to the Pennsylvania Department of Health, which acts as the Department of Health for 61 of the 67 counties here in the Commonwealth. And then finally, in reference to our treasurer's comment, we've posted the Berks County Treasurer's Office website so that people that want to follow up on the DOE license issue may. So I just want to highlight that section can be very helpful, and I'm going to put Heather on the spot, or one of the other IS folks. Are you also posting that those links over to YouTube and Facebook?
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Yes, I thought you were. I just didn't want to misdirect people. So this information is also being published to Facebook and YouTube. With that, is there anything else that we need to address from my colleagues?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.